Happy Spiritual Sunday. So it's Spiritual Sunday. What's today? August 27th, 2023. How different is the world really than 1,000 years ago? Okay. Destruction can take place a lot faster than it used to. Right? Good and bad messages, we have to admit both, can also happen instantly. Like this. Here we are, the thing that keeps amazing me, we're all over the world. Here I sit in Boca Raton, Florida, in the Kabbalah Center, and I have this machine, and because of some invisible metaphysical wiring, I can be all over the world at the same time. Now, for good or for bad, that's the key, right? We can use it how we use it. So when we say consciousness is everything, what does it really mean? That everything in our life is based on our consciousness. Everything. How many stories maybe, or maybe people have a lot of physical material things that most people would say, wow, if I had that, it'd be great and wonderful, whatever. And you could look at them and they're still miserable. So how could it be anything but consciousness? I mean, whatever they've got that we're looking at or people look at, they've got it. Why are they not happy? And then you turn around, if you talk about Einstein's relativity in Kabbalistic terms, there are people who look at the person who's looking at somebody else, right? And there's probably billions of people around the world looking at that person who says, oh my God, why aren't they happy? Because they have a house, they have indoor plumbing, right? They make more than $2 a day. Things like that. You understand it's all relative. And what does that mean in our terms? Consciousness is everything. Where you think you're at is where you are. Karen used to say, reality is not as it is. Reality is as we are. So my reality is me, my consciousness. Your reality is your consciousness. That's why we can be, even here, Spiritual Sunday. Do you think you, me, or anyone who's watching us now online, do you think any of us get the identical message from the words that come out of my mouth? Why not? I'm only speaking one set of words. I mean, I'd like to say I had the ability to speak out of, one word and it goes out in whatever, a dozen languages kinds of thing. No, but everybody's hearing the same words. Why is it that not everybody gets the same message? Again, consciousness. And it doesn't have to be in a bad way, but each one of us get touched in a certain way. And as here and there you see me, also usually a lot more in the classes, but as words come out of my mouth, I also get my own revelation, right? Not everything that I say here at Spiritual Sunday is written on this piece of paper. I mean, the Rav and Karen taught us all the years I've been in the center, just think to be connected to the great Kabbalists and just be a channel. And because of that, very often I get my own answers for situations that are going through my mind. What do I do with this? How do I handle that? How do I speak to this person? Whatever it may be. And out of my own mouth comes the answer. Because if we're really just channeling, and it took me a while to get that with the Rav and Karen, because they would say amazing things, and then, 2 days later, they couldn't remember things that they said. And I couldn't understand why at first. And then I realized if you're just channeling, words come out of your mouth beyond your consciousness. Now, our job, and this is why they would also say, the biggest distance in the world is between our mouth and our ears, for good or for bad, right? Sometimes you say something a little short-tempered or a little stressed out to somebody in front of you, even a loved one, and you don't remember. And then all of us, then they tell you, what you said to me? I said, I don't remember that. Because again, it goes out this way and didn't get back to the person's ear. So it has to come through someone else. And as we'll get to today, so then there's that, okay, give you a little hint. Then comes this artificial intelligence that starts translating into divisiveness, anger, fear, all the negativity that creates chaos. So now we got quite a few people online. Again, Croatia, Atlanta, Mexico, Boca, Portland, Hong Kong, Cape Town, From Las Vegas, Macedonia. What? Yeah, Cape Town. Yes. Exactly. Okay. So let's do our affirmation for those of you here. It's on the screen to your side. It's okay, let me make sure you can see it. It's another reminder, consciousness is everything, but also what we're committing ourselves to do with our consciousness. So we say it together. Consciousness is everything. I raise my consciousness today to see the miracles and wonders of life. I commit myself to behave with greater love, compassion, and kindness towards all human beings. And we say it every week. Why is it so difficult? Okay, so let's get right into it. It's interesting. The last few weeks, these conversations come up, and I said, got to speak about it on Sunday. So I looked up the definition, artificial intelligence. This is what the online, dictionary says. The theory and development of computer systems. It's interesting they computer. The theory and development of computer systems able to perform tasks that normally require human intelligence. Are you hearing the words? The theory and development of computer systems, and let's include that because we're seeing a lot of it today, robotic computers, able to perform tasks that normally require human intelligence, such as visual perception, speech recognition, decision-making, and translation between languages. Okay? Computer robot that does those things. So, as it says, what is it really? What's artificial intelligence? Man-made, person-made, sorry. Okay. Human-made, machines, robots, whatever you want to call them, that are copies of humanity. Copies of humanity. Now, artificial, therefore, and we just said consciousness is everything. Artificial means fake, imitation, pretending, imposter. Okay? Right? A copy of nature. So when you read in some food, artificial ingredients, what are they copying? They're trying to copy something in nature, either, cheaper or easier or whatever you want to say, but they're trying to copy something in nature, something that's natural. Why is it that today so many people make an effort to stay away from artificial ingredients? If they're just supposed to be copies of nature, because you and I understand, 500 years ago, did science understand proton, neutrons, and electrons? Yes or no? No. 500 years ago, no. Which means then, if they were trying to copy nature and not understanding all the facets of nature, they couldn't copy nature, could they? They could only copy a part. Am I making sense? So like so many people said over, the last many years, I've heard people say, when they try and make, I hope I can say it and not get cut off here, when they tried to make vitamin C, right? Like artificially in the laboratory, vitamin C. And then you'd hear various nutritional people say, well, that's nice, but all they can copy is one facet of it. But you don't know what other parts or what other things are in an orange that could have health benefits. So they're only copying a piece of. You follow? So if it goes to artificial things, ingredients like that, what about artificial intelligence? They've got to be missing something. And again, we're not disrespecting the people who do these things. We, here in the Kabbalah Center, we want to understand, what does it mean? So the more clear the universe is to us, our own thinking, our own beliefs or way of believing the world, then the better decisions we can make. The better we can guide ourselves to where we're supposed to be. But if the picture is not clear, or a person only has half the information, how can they make a fully beneficial decision? Just simple definition, you can't. So whether it's a scientist, a politician, you and me on the street, a plumber, electrician, whatever, if they only have half a picture, they can't repair or fix or bring back to its original state whatever the defective thing is. So, wow. Yeah. Does the world to you look like it's in a state that is supposed to be? And don't be too spiritual. Say, well, everything is the right thing, da da da. I mean, just in general, in the big picture. Is this how the world's supposed to look? When we left the endless world, is this what we came for? We didn't come for pain and suffering, chaos, fighting, discord, bad health, all the trouble. We didn't come for that. So why have we accepted it for so long? Oof. They're taking me a direction. I hope it's okay with you. But you and I, you're sitting here, and those of you watching, you're here now. Okay. So we have to realize what we don't see clearly. And we have to be, as the Kabbalists say, we have to make ourselves, wow, okay. We have to make ourselves, no matter to what extent we have our own chaos, we really need to be truly empathetic, like they say, empath, feeling other people. We have to come to understand or feel the pain that people are going through besides us. In other words, take your pain and then expand it a few thousand times and think about what some of the people around the world are feeling. And unfortunately, too many people. And so, as I want to continue, yes, I'm continuing. As I want to continue with this idea, hopefully to really wake us up and push us into an exponential transformation of behavior. Because like we talked a little last week, the new moon of Libra, which is coming up in just about 2 weeks, determines 365 days, basically, or 363 technically, of what goes on. 363 days of what the influence for humanity will be. It starts on those 2 days. Yes, we can always change it, but like I often say, once you pour concrete and it hardens, if you didn't put it in the shape or the way you wanted, can you still fix it? Yeah, take a jackhammer, get a big crew, it can be. But is it easier when it's still wet cement? Even if when it's wet, it's in the wrong shape, it's still easier to push around. Right? Ideally, we want to get it right from the beginning, but if it's wet, you can move it around. Once it's hardened, then you can do it because nothing is irreparable. It's just a question of how much effort it takes. So in 2 days, we are deciding literally the next 363 days of our lives. So then how important is the next 2 weeks? And what we learn here in the center, not just on Spiritual Sunday, but in all the classes that the center teaches. So let's think about then, if artificial intelligence is supposed to be a copy of, let's call it natural or original human intelligence, which is more powerful? The original. The Rav used to make it simple. You're talking 40 years ago, or let's say 37 when I walked in the center. The Rav used to say, because people would get out their calculators. You remember the first calculators came along? Right? Whoo, boy. Okay. Somebody I know is going to write me and say, see, you did it again. Okay, anyway, my first year in college, they came out with the first calculator. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and square root, right? It was only $260. but there was a line at the bookstore to buy them. So it started like that. Then a few years later, I come to the center, and the Rav would say, who created the computer? Because everyone, computer, how fast it can calculate and all this stuff. The Rav looked at us and said, who created it? We did. So why is it that we think the computer is better than we are? And that's in essence what I want to bring out today, because Michael Berg has been talking about it probably for the last year or two, to keep waking us up. And, it's little by little by little. I hope, at least for me, that we get sort of a huge wake-up call, but in the best way, in the most merciful way. So what is natural? How did the Creator create us? If we're going to talk about original human intelligence, what is that? What is that? How smart do you think the Creator is? Whatever name you give or however you perceive the Creator, but literally the Creator. How smart is the Creator? A little bit, tiny bit, a little more than us? Is it better than a computer? Oh, we say, of course. Of course, the Creator, infinite power, intelligence, all this stuff, yes? And I don't care what religion you grow up in. What does the Bible say in its simple terms about the creation of humanity? We are created in the image and likeness. What does that mean? Look around the room, and we're only a few people. Which one of you does God look like? Well, no, it can't look like. If we look at it, you all look different. So how could it be the image and likeness mean physicality? So what does it mean, the image and likeness? You and I understand from Kabbalah 1 forward, it means all the power of the Creator. When we go, oh, wow, the Creator is infinitely smart, knows everything there is to know from beginning to end eternally, what's inside of us? A piece of that. Oh, and don't say a piece is limited. It's like a hologram, right? You have a holographic image, and you break it into 1,000 pieces, and you put it, even 1,000th piece in a laser, you have the whole picture. That's who we are. Each one of us creating the universe. When you woke up this morning, did you realize you were creating all the stars and planets out there? Didn't think about that, did you? You were worried just if you could create enough effort to get out of bed and go wash your face in the bathroom. Okay, sorry. Yeah, okay, yes, got it. We have that power. So then what's artificial intelligence? And I know, man, okay, relax. I'll try and make this quick within our time frame. Okay. So what's artificial intelligence? You understand? The real intelligence of humanity is, even some of us, every now and then you see me still in awe that we can be here in Boca and I can be on this thing called internet, and here's people all over the world. Cape Town, right? Hong Kong, Macedonia, Croatia, like this. For me, it's still awe-inspiring because I have no grasp of how that happens. Some of you maybe, but you learn Kabbalah, you say, wow, how does that work? No, for me, Kabbalah is a lot simpler. It's fundamental. Each one of us have been empowered by the light of the Creator. So everything that we perceive the Creator can do, we can do. And if the Creator, from our point of view, every morning is bringing power that allows the stars and the planets to work, Earth, the plants to grow, animals to move, all this stuff, our body to work, etc., we have that inside of us. So when you today talk about artificial intelligence, I want to understand and share what was the original artificial intelligence. What was the original copy, imposter, impersonator, unnatural, imitator of human beings? Even in simple Bible terms, because I know that's where some of you are going. Who is the enemy? Who was the enemy of Adam and Eve? The snake. Whatever you call the snake. We call it Satan, the opponent, the adversary, that negative voice in our head. That's the original artificial intelligence. It was a robot. It was of human form. Don't think of a snake. It was of human form. So like this. You ever looked in a mirror? Anyone ever looked in a mirror here? You know, the Baal Shem Tov, it says by the great Baal Shem Tov, he never looked in a mirror. Of course, it wasn't so difficult then. Not everybody had a mirror at home, right? You and I, you stand in front of your sink to brush your teeth. You almost can't help it. The mirror's right there, unless you took it down. But you look in the mirror. How many times have you looked at the mirror and said something critical? Okay, I'm not asking you how many times. Have you ever? Let's put it that way. Once or twice, right? What is that? That's artificial intelligence. Who's telling you that you're not perfect? You and I have learned here many, many, many years. We are pure and perfect beings of light. We are pure and perfect beings of light. So when you look in the mirror and you're saying anything but that, that's artificial, let's call it for today, that's artificial stupidity. I don't even want to call it intelligence. But to understand it's coming from an intelligent program we created and put in our head. Like when I watch my kids play video games. Somebody had a lot of smarts to create the intelligence of the game, where the game knows how to move this way and that way and calculate or whatever it may do. Okay, it looks like intelligence, but it's still artificial. Which means, like the Rav started when I walked in the center, we created it. Even if you didn't create that video game, but the power to do that same thing is inside of us. So the artificial intelligence is the thing we call the opponent, the adversary that's there just to say, oh no, you can't do this, you're not powerful, you can't take that. So I want to put that in your mind. And how good is it? When you grew up, when I grew up, the voice in your head that we now understand was that opponent, that challenger. Whose voice did it sound like? Mine sounds like me. Yours sounds like yours. So today when you hear robots or you see IA, artificial intelligence, and they have, and I've seen it, they have these things where you could project a picture of Elvis Presley, right? And he's singing to me. Artificial intelligence, right? He can be looking at me, I am whatever it is, and he can sing. It looks like him. You know he's not in the physical world. But it's artificial intelligence, so you know it's not real. But we can do amazing things with it. The issue comes when we allow ourselves to give away our God-given power, the light of the Creator. We give it over to this artificial stupidity. That's our problem. So here, let me give you a few examples in case you didn't get it yet. And maybe to remind me. So, the opponent, remember, just fundamentally, desire to receive oneself alone. The opponent, that parasitic voice in our head, makes us, tempts us, and taunts us to think of only one person. Actually, three, as my grandfather used to say. Me, myself, and I. That's it. Desire to receive oneself alone. What am I going to get? How am I going to get? How are you going to do my bidding? That's really the opponent. How can I make you and everybody outside of me and everything outside me do what I want? So imagine, what is your opponent telling you? You want all of us to do what you want us to do. So like I've said in class before, imagine if I just gave two of you sitting here in the audience the power to command all the rest of us. Do you not understand that somewhere along the line, one of you is going to look at us and say, go to the left, because that's what you want, and the other one of you, who supposedly have that same power, going to look at all of us and say, no, go to the right. Now what do? So if we're coming with me, myself, and I, the power of the opponent, it's not going to work. Somewhere along the line, even just sort of in a friendly aspect or a friendly environment, you're going to say, go to the left, and one's going to say, go to the right. We're not going to know what to do. So what's going to ensue? Chaos, discord, a little divisiveness. You follow the idea? Now multiply that 8 billion times and add on a few lifetimes and a few more factors of egotistic, truly destructive selfishness, trying to direct the world. Now, is it any wonder you look at the shape of the world today and see how it is? Shouldn't be very confusing, very easy, because everybody wants to control everybody else on the outside. Because the artificial stupidity that's inside each of us is saying, hey, make them do this, and how could they treat you that? So the light inside of us says, no, just shine the light. So simple. as the first line of what most people think, the most complex teaching of Kabbalah, 10 luminous emanations. The first line is the pure, simple light. The light is simple. So the Kabbalists for thousands of years, and if you've been listening to Michael Berg recently, he's been trying to infuse that into our thinking. We need to be simple because the light is simple, and all we are beings of light. So let it be simple. Just find a way. I mean, how many times do we have to hear the phrase, if you want to remove darkness from a room, what do? Turn on the light. What could be simpler? But we have to keep hearing it because the parasite in our head says, oh, no. If you want to remove the darkness, the chaos in your life, get rid of that person, scream at them, make them give you what you want, do what you want, etc. Natural intelligence, artificial stupidity. Yes, you can use that with your friends. I give you permission. Okay. So here's some examples before I go on and on. Anger. Anything ever triggered you to feel anger? So here comes the artificial stupidity. I like that. Thank you. The artificial stupidity says, I'm going to show them how powerful I am. They can't treat me that way. Go show them. Beat them up. Scream at them. Put them down. Just go at them so aggressively till they back off and give in or run away. How powerful do you feel when they do back off and they run away and they beg your forgiveness? Whew. Feel like a king or a queen, right? Wow, so powerful. But how long does it last? 5 minutes. If it's you and me, 20 seconds. Because we're such good people, we notice the difference right away. After the fact, 20 seconds. What is the light of the Creator telling us when we're being triggered and we're feeling angry? Have compassion. Be simple like the light. This person coming at you, why are they doing what they're doing? They're in the dark. You're in the dark because you're feeling angry. You're not in the light when you feel angry. Pause, turn on the light. Shine the light of compassion, forgiveness, tolerance. And if you're inspired or guided to say or do something, then do it. Because then your action is coming from the light. Your words are coming from the light. Pure, simple. So every word takes away darkness. Have you ever said the right thing to the other person in the argument? The right thing. 1 and 1 is 2 and they're arguing 1 and 1 is 3. And they still don't look at you like you're right? They're still arguing 1 and 1 is 3? But you said the right thing. It's clearly correct. So how come? Because your words didn't come with light. It didn't reach into their heart. Like attracts like. So if you're arguing with Satan, the opponent, even you're saying 1 and 1 is 2 and they're saying 1 and 1 is 3, but your opponent going to attract their opponent and wake up their opponent, and they just don't want to say they're wrong and you're right. So they're going to argue, what are you, stupid? 1 and 1 is 3. And you're going to look at them like they got 3 heads. Don't you get it? 1 and 1 is 2. The Rav would say, you want to be right or do you want to have the light? So you pause, just send them light. Even they want to stay in the dark with their eyes closed and you're shining light, at least you're in the light. The other part is, even when you scream at them and they give in to you, it's only there and then. Doesn't last long, like we said, but it's also only there and then. Whereas when you shine light in the place of your darkness of anger, when you walk away, you're taking light with you. So the rest of your light is also brighter. Every other part of your life is also brighter. Because the light is shining more out of you. So wherever you go, more light. You scream and yell, it's only in that place there. And the sad part, if you really are objective with it, when you leave that moment, that place, that person, what do you take with you to the next place? Stress, anger, frustration, all that negative vibration. So then you go home to all your loved ones and you're vibrating anger. What do you think you're waking up in them? Their aspect of anger. Because like will attract like. So if you're giving into your opponent and vibrating opponent energy, that's what you're waking up in all the other people that you meet. You go to work, you have an important business meeting, you're vibrating angry energy, you're waking up the anger or the impatience or the judgment in all those other people. Yes, yes. Your opponent is telling you now, like he's trying to tell me, this is heavy stuff. And the light's going, this is light stuff. This is how we're going to change the planet overnight. People just wake up and get it. Or there's this one, lack thinking. You know anybody who has lack thinking? I don't have enough, I can't share, right? Usually it's about money. Don't have enough money to give. I know people with a lot of money who feel they don't have enough money to give. It's lack thinking. What is that parasite, the artificial stupidity? What if there's a rainy day? I love that. What if there's a rainy day? Well, how big is a rainy day? $50, $100, 100,000, 2 million? You understand what person says? I heard Michael Berg recently says, he called it a joke. I'd never heard it before. How long is that piece of string? Compared to what? You follow? So a rainy day, how big is a rainy day? But people are saving their money. That's what the opponent said. I know somebody was saving money for a rainy day. Guess what they got? A rainy day, $120,000 worth. And at the end of the story, before they came to the center to understand, what did they say? Oh, thank God they had the $120,000. Fool, what does the light say? Everything comes from the light. Our source of everything is the light. We're just channels of it. So if the light's giving you $1 million, tithing, even the fundamental, 10%, goes back to pay off the Creator. Not physically, don't take this the wrong way. But you give it to bring light to the world. You give away that 10% because the 10% is where all the chaos and negativity energy exists. So by giving it away transformationally to bring light, for us, particularly the Zohar, support people who want to come and learn Kabbalah, the Karenberg Scholarship Fund. You give it away like that, you have more than enough abundance. It'll keep flowing, keep flowing, keep flowing. Because the source is the Creator. How much money does the Creator have? Can't even give a number, infinite. Okay. So then if you're channels of it, how much can you get? Everything you need when you need. The Baal Shem Tov, again, such a wonderful example, great Kabbalist. He's telling his student, just reach in your pocket, I need $50 or 50 rubles, whatever it was. They reach in their pocket, there would be. Because he knew whatever he needed, the Creator was the supply. He was just looking who had the openness and the desire to be the channel of it. So his student would just reach in with that absolute certainty. If their master, who they come to accept, trust 100%, if he said, reach in your pocket and give me 50 rubles, they just did it as a pure conduit. And they were able to channel that. Things like that. And then again, that idea of abundance. So the person who's saving for the rainy day doesn't want to give because the parasite says, can't give. Again, that's only their money. Period right there. The same way. But their lack thinking goes everywhere else. The lack of friends, the lack of acceptance, the lack of, people wanting to be their friend, be nice to them, whatever it is. Lack of other things. It spreads everywhere because it's about the person. Now you start thinking abundance. No, the Creator is my source. I just want to be the channel. So I'm willing at least to give tithing. 10%. $10 comes in my pocket, go give $1. Don't ever, 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 ever feel ashamed, embarrassed, or whatever to give $1. If you got 10, give $1. It's 10%. It's the same as the guy who makes $10 million giving $1 million. Spiritual energy, it's the same. It's the same effort. You gave $1 out of 10. If that's what you got, the guy who makes 10 million gives $1 million. It's the same. Cosmically, it's the same. So don't ever disrespect whatever you give. And you can go on, because we're going to keep going. You can go on jealousy, insecurity. You can start hearing the voice in your head. It's all the same thing. What does the opponent say? The artificial stupidity. I like that term. Yeah, it's you guys. I haven't said it up to this point. It didn't come to me till you guys. Maybe it's one of you out there somewhere in the far reaches of the world, right? Artificial stupidity. Okay. All right. So then in essence, what are we learning here in the Kabbalah Center? The Kabbalah Center is teaching us the ultimate, as they use the word, authentic wisdom of Kabbalah. And just for those of you who are newer, the evidence or the validity of that goes very simple. Michael Berg, who's currently the head and the greatest Kabbalist in the world, in this case it was his father Rav Berg, who had a master Kabbalist Rav Yehuda Brandwein, who had a master Kabbalist Rabbi Yehuda Ashlag, who did something that has never been done in any form of Kabbalah by any Kabbalist in the previous 5,783 years. He took the entire Zohar from its original Aramaic and translated with commentary that was downloaded. Today we have that term. Was downloaded to him, people would call automatic writing, in modern, understandable terms. And then he had to teach you how to teach you how to teach you. Go back to the original author of the Zohar, Rav Shimon Bar Yochai. So for me, that's what makes this the real deal. And so what are we learning here? To be able to identify the artificial stupidity and our original intelligence, and to understand the benefit and the power of using it. But the key is, like I'm telling you, Mikhail Berg has been talking about it a lot recently, that we don't understand how powerful we are. So like we started here this morning, if you believe the Creator is infinitely powerful and infinitely wise, realize you have a piece of that. And so he told me something I don't remember, could have been, that I've heard it in all these years in the center, but if I had, I never remembered it. So this year it impacted me. He says, when a person passes from this world, when the soul leaves, according to the Kabbalists, they take the body, they take it off, let's say the bed, they put it on the ground. And it says at that moment, the eyes open up, and what the person is hearing inside, what the angels are doing, are asking this person, what's your name? Sounds like a silly question, no? Anyone here not know their name? But it says, at that moment, 99.999999999% of the people, other than the true Kabbalists, it says they say to the angels, basically, the Creator and all the angels know that they say that they don't know their name. They just left the world. We're not talking, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, where, like you and I could say, oh, maybe after a couple of years you could forget. No. What is it saying is they don't understand, because in Kabbalistic terms, the word for name is the same numerical value as desire. And you and I understand our soul is the capacity to hold the light. It's our desire for the light. So the artificial stupidity and the light of the Creator, our soul's energy, the power of the Creator inside it, both using the desire for infinite fulfillment. But one in the stupid, limited, instant gratification, short-term way, and one in the more intelligent, long-term, eternal bliss. But they're both using that essence. So when the person says they don't know their name, it means at that moment they were able to see, if you will, how big they really are, how powerful they really are. And then when they look at what they did in their life, and I don't care all the great things that a lot of people have done, it's still like relative to who we really are and what we really have the capability to do, it's like nothing. It's like nothing. Like we'd say, a drop of ocean water out of the ocean. Okay, it's still ocean water, right? It's still made up of all the same material as the entire ocean, chemical form, chemical composition, but it's a drop. Even a cup, even a gallon, 5 gallons out of the ocean, like nothing. You understand the idea? This is what we got to start waking up to. Because the artificial stupidity, and this for me, the biggest stupidity that this challenger that we programmed. I mean, that's the thing. We were intelligent enough to program this opposition so we could overcome it and feel accomplished, truly manifest the light of the Creator. And we've given so much power to it, we've given in so much that now it seems to be beating us. So here, the biggest thing, look at the chaos of the world. How many of you, and you don't have to raise your hand or whatever, but just think about it. How many of you before today, also you guys watching online, how many of you thought, let's say 3 hours ago, really accepted, had certainty that you could stop all the chaos of the world? No, you ask most people, they say, oh, you know, when is all this chaos going to stop? I mean, how can we stop the fighting in other countries? How can we stop even the fighting in our own country? All of that. No way, it's hopeless. Hopeless, hopeless, hopeless. But stop and think. Who created it? Like the computer. Who created the computer? Human beings. We all have a piece of the creator. So who created all the chaos and the divisiveness and everything else in the world? Humanity did. 8 billion people. All of us added accumulative energy. So don't look and say, well, but I'm not out there, I don't know, robbing and stealing. Maybe not. But as of today, do you realize the fact we all give in to that artificial stupidity? We are not only robbing ourselves, our family, our friends, and our business, we're robbing the world of all the great peace and harmony and joy and happiness that the world could have. So we're robbing a piece of it. Okay, we may not be doing like those out there, but like we've now talking these last few months particularly, we may be doing it 5 watts of energy. That may be 5 million watts of energy, but it's the same thing. Robbing is robbing. Lying is lying. Jealousy is jealousy. Ego is ego. The intensity is intensity. It's not different. It's still the same thing. What's the difference between a little ego and a big ego? It's still ego. It's like I told in class the other day, one of my favorite pet peeves, because we were talking about the ego, we were talking about anger. Anger management. What a stupid term. Please don't get mad at me. That's my opinion. Because what's anger management mean? So I said like this, just to cut to the chase. How many of you would like to send corrupt people to corruption management? Is that what you want? Corruption management. Or like we do. Well, they're corrupt over here in Joe Smith's business, so we want to manage them, corruption, send them over to Mary Williams' business. We're managing the corruption. No, anger management means you're holding on to it and you're just moving it, hiding it under the rug till it piles up so high that a person walking by the rug trips over it and falls and breaks a leg. You don't want to manage it. You want to transform it. Anger into kindness, compassion, right? Lack, like we said, into abundant thinking. Jealousy into gratitude. Insecurity to secure. It's not me, it's the creator. Let me channel. I'm secure, I can channel the light, to have certainty in that. That's what we want to do, transformation. Who wants to manage? That's what they're trying to do. 5,783 years we've been trying to manage humanity. Look how good a job we've done. You and I are learning how to let the light manage our life more and more every day. And it's a process, but let's speed up the process. That's where we want to go. So when the opponent, that's artificial stupidity, is trying to tell you, you have no power over the chaos of the world. When you're in the privacy of your own thinking, you can use whatever terms you want to push that thing away. But in simplicity, just say, thank you for reminding me. I haven't been sending enough light to 8 billion people. Take out your Zohar, start to scan, intensify the light in your heart and soul so the light you're shining out is brighter. It becomes the 1,000,000 watts instead of the 100 watts of your own power up to that moment. So our job is, like the Zohar says in its terms, our job is to use the opponent, the artificial stupidity, as our assurance of quality agent, to make sure that we are being better and better channels of light. So when you hear that artificial stupidity tell you, you should be jealous. Why does that person have the job you wanted? They don't deserve it. You say, thank you for reminding me. I need to have gratitude for what I have, and I have to be happy for their having the job. Because if it wasn't my job, the Creator has another job. I mean, in metaphorical terms, the Creator is the head of God Incorporated, which has 8 billion employees, offices all around the universe. I was going to say the world, but the universe. And so whatever we need, if we're going to that CEO and say, look, I'm channeling the light, then whatever you need, whenever you need it, wherever it may be on earth, will show up. Because the light wants the light to be revealed everywhere for everyone for eternity. That's the only reason we left the world, left the endless world, was just to channel the light and live in peace and harmony. So we've got to stop letting that artificial stupidity tell us that we're anything but. Man alive. You know the story of the elephant? Just to see. Maybe, because some of us look at ourselves and, sometimes I feel like an elephant. So they say you take a baby elephant, right? When it's a baby, and you take a 6-foot chain and you tie it to a post. So after, a little while, the little baby elephant knows it can only go 6 feet, right? Then when they become these huge pachyderms that could knock over, 10-story buildings and things like that, they can hold them in a 6-foot, radius with basically a thread, because the elephant believes, after so many years of being caught in the 6-foot radius, believes that's all it can do. So like you and I, the Zohar says, when we grow up, we hear the voice of the opponent, that we believe it, and then when the light starts to wake up, we don't believe the light. Or if we start to believe the light, what it tells us to do is too difficult. Imagine having to forgive the person you hate the most. But if you weigh it against infinite bliss, lasting health, peace, abundance, the right relationships and all that, is it really too much? You follow? That's what we have to come to understand. And that's why we've got to use. So when you hear that stupidity in your head, say, whatever, be angry, pause and say, thank you for reminding me where I'm not sending enough light, in what way I'm not sharing. And then start sharing. Take away the darkness from your life. The nice part is you're also exposing the rest of us to more light too. So it's not a complicated thing. As we say in the class, pause, share the light. Pause, share the light. Pause, share the light. If you just think that way, you're driving down the street, you start to feel those feelings, pause, share the light. Just shine light on those people, and through them to everybody on earth. Then when you get to your destination, you're more at peace, instead of frustrated because you were giving into the stupidity inside you. So if you go back to Kabbalists, where did I write it? So, here. Cell phone. How old is the essence of the cell phone? Let's put a little more consciousness. How old is it? The essence of this cell phone. Meaning the laws of science and the raw materials. How old are they? Since the Big Bang. 14.5 billion years old. So how come we only have a cell phone, the last, whatever it may be, 60, 80 years? Because it took us 14.5 billion years for the scientists to figure out how to put it all together. But the laws of science aren't new. They came with the Big Bang. The raw material that makes this isn't new. It came with the Big Bang. So we think the cell phone, wow, especially now. Do you remember the first cell phones? Bricks. We used to call them bricks. But now you got these. I saw somebody, he didn't keep it very long, but like little tiny, like a quarter of this size. But I have enough trouble with this to do texting without pushing the wrong letter 12 times. With a little tiny thing like that. So we think, wow, look how far we've gotten. We're in the 21st century, right? Don't you wish your great-grandparents had this? Go back 4,000 years. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Great patriarchs, matriarchs. Rachel, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah. They didn't need a cell phone. No, we say, they didn't have a cell phone. They were so primitive. They didn't need one. They had telepathy. Who needs a cell phone if you could have mental telepathy with every person on earth? Or travel. Whew, now we can go to the moon in a spaceship. Really? 4,000 years ago, Abraham the patriarch, in the Book of Formation, described all the planets in our solar system. Not only what people think their astrological influence, like what was their spiritual influence. No, he described their environment. Hot, cold, dry, and moist. 4,000 years ago. What satellite, thank you. This is where artificial stupidity comes in now. Because 4,000 years ago, how could Abraham the patriarch here on earth know what the environments of those planets were? So you know what artificial stupidity brings in? And if you want to ask me, you can ask me later, or ask your Kabbalah teacher if you have one. Now comes aliens, advanced civilizations, that they told Abraham what was going on. Okay, you want to believe it? Believe it. I'm not going to tell you you can't believe it, but I'm telling you Kabbalistically, it's not true. Abraham was able to teleport himself. In fact, even stronger, they say that from his point of view, basically what he did was he just reached out, he brought, let's say, the planet Venus right here, he looked at it and he put it back. If you and I have the power of the Creator, true power of the Creator, could we not do something similar? Not in a destructive way, like you bring Venus here, you throw it on your neighbor that you don't like. No, but you get the idea, right? So whichever way, they didn't need these things. So we are not advanced. We're catching up, let's say, but they had it way ahead of us. So it's time now, let's just skip the process. Realize what you've got, realize the power you have, and I want to tell you this. Oh man, okay. So let me just tell you the quick story and then we'll finish and then we'll do our meditation here. Preview. Mem Yud Kaf. Okay, here for those of you here. So this goes back again to like the 17th century, the Baal Shem Tov. So the Baal Shem Tov was one of these Kabbalists. He could do things like that. That's why they didn't believe him. Right, he could do miracles, but the people caught in the 1% thought he was a charlatan, like they say with all the great Kabbalists, right? They always have something against them. So the Baal Shem Tov, as he always did, he was traveling around looking for actually simple people who were creating bigger miracles than him. So his angels or his spiritual guide, whatever name you want to give it, would tell him, go over here, go there, whatever. So it's one day he goes to this one small town. And again, you're talking in the late 1600s, early 1700s. So he goes to this town, and of course, at this point, people knew he was the Baal Shem Tov. So this one man, very ignorant, illiterate, but let's say a holy man. He just desired to be connected to the Creator all the time. So here comes this great Baal Shem Tov, and this man's prayer book was, like he'd been using it, even though he couldn't read it. But like we talk about, he would scan the Hebrew, right, and just channel the light, ask the Creator for help, whatever it was. Okay, thank you. And so he comes to the Baal Shem Tov and he says, can you help me put this all in order and give me, a little bit of understanding, maybe some more consciousness about it. So he's making notes in it and he's putting the papers in order like this. He says, thank you. The Baal Shem Tov goes. And about 2 hours later, the Baal Shem Tov's, as he's walking, he comes to this river. Okay, whatever reason, he was told it was okay to do this. So he takes his handkerchief, he puts it on the water, and it glides him, right? Like he levitates across the river. So as he starts walking again, he hears a voice from, the forest. Master, master, master. And here comes this illiterate man. He comes running after the Baal Shem Tov. He says, he catches up to him. And he says, Master, after you left, my kids were playing and they bumped the table and all the papers fell out. Can you please, put them back in order because I want to be able to, pray to the Creator, praise the Creator, like, those things. And the Baal Shem Tov's looking at him like, he says, no, please. He says, wait a second, let me ask you a question. How did you get here? Like, how did you cross the river? He says, I saw what you did. You took the handkerchief, you put it on the river and, kind of flew across the river. I did the same thing. The Baal Shem Tov looks at it and says, I don't think you need to worry about the prayers. You understand? Simplicity, imitating the light, in this case, imitating the great Kabbalists. So when it comes to what we want to do, don't let that artificial voice, as we now call it, artificial stupidity, don't let it run your life. Don't let it fake your life. Don't let it take from your life. Realize that you don't want that pretender anymore to control us, taunting us to live less than we're capable. We want to remember we're beings of light, pure and perfect beings of light. We have the power to achieve peace on earth. We have the power to achieve anything we want. Peace, harmony, joy. And it's time now that we start working together because that's the key of the light. I mean, you take 2 candles and you light 2 candles, even though you hold them apart, it looks like separate light. But once you put them together, how many lights does it look like? It's one. It's one. They all combine. The light is the power of unity. So we want to start waking up and say, no, I commit myself today not to give in to this artificial stupidity, but I want to be guided by, I want to be listening to the voice of the light inside me, my original, infinite, God-given intelligence and the power that we have. And if we just join together, forces, even you and I, Technically, the Kabbalists say if it's just our group, those of you watching online and here, if we could truly be united enough, we could shine enough light, we could remove all the darkness, that the artificial stupidity would disappear in a moment, and the only thing speaking inside the heart and the soul and the mind of every person on earth would be the light of their soul. So we have that ability, we have that capability, we just have to wake up and realize, no, I have to be like this man. I want to be simple. I want to know that the light that I can channel, and I do channel, not always been for the proactive, but I want to start channeling light in a proactive way. Pure light for pure love, compassion, kindness, forgiveness, tolerance. And if we'll do that, we will start to awaken the same thing that's in the heart and soul of every person on earth. And once that soul wakes up, what are you doing here, sitting here? Because somehow your heart and soul got woken up. And you said, I don't want to settle for the chaos I've been in or the pain that I've been in. So since you've been in the center, I know there's been transformation, you wouldn't still be sitting here. So how about speeding it up? And not only that, but like we now call it, if we enlist 8 billion people to be part of our spiritual army, by sending light to them, by spreading the Zohar, letting them, helping them come to learn what we're teaching here, it'll be like Jeremiah says, in a blink of an eye, there'll be peace on earth. And nobody will have to ask anymore, tell me about the Creator. Teach me the wisdom of Kabbalah. Because at that point, when the light is complete, every human being will know. We'll know the Creator, we'll know the light, and we won't have to use the handkerchief to cross the river of hell, because we'll all be living in the Garden of Eden, in heaven on earth. God bless. Yay, okay. Thank them. Thank them. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. So this is the time, basically, we all show our appreciation. I guess it's just that simple. So okay, great. Or show your, here we go. No, okay, do this. One, I just thank you for being here. Those of you who I know are committed and give regularly. It's coming up to Rosh Hashanah. It's good for us all to do more. But in simple terms, if something touched you and you know your life has been improved by what we do, wouldn't you like 8 billion people to do the same thing? So this month in particular, we're focused on the Karenberg Scholarship Fund. So for whatever you give today, or those of you there, you want to give and make a note of it, or just go online, Kabbalah.com, donate, because it allows people. I think I told you a couple weeks back, but it's something like there's 1,000. Now I forgot, I had the numbers at that point, but it's something like 1,000 to 2,000 people every month are being benefited by the money that you donate to the scholarship fund, because they want to come learn, but they need help, right, to take the classes. So that's what we're dedicating this month to, is the scholarship fund. So if any of this has touched you and you really see the benefit of millions more people being on board like this, so just open your heart and soul, and remember it all comes from the Creator anyway, which is why we take this time. So those of you here physically, just hold your offering in your hand. Those of you online, do the meditation with us. And then I just put the link. Yeah, the link is there that you can go and give. And just put the little note you want it to go to the scholarship fund. So we just, first and foremost, gratitude. Gratitude and appreciation. Because that's the thing that expands our vessel, our capacity to reveal more of our blessings. The Creator gave us 100%. Even if we're revealing 70, there's 30% more to go. And that comes only with gratitude and appreciation. So we want to appreciate all that the Creator has given us, appreciate how much we've been able to reveal, and appreciate the fact that we now realize all the more clearly how much more power we have, and even a new perspective on really what the power of the Creator inside of us can do to literally remove the angel of death, as the Kabbalists say, transforming it back to just be the angel of life. And so we send this out through the projects of the center, and in this case the scholarship fund, with gratitude and appreciation, with desire to bring more of the 8 billion parts of our soul into this wisdom, into this truth, into this technology, so we can remove all the pain and suffering and all the death and the torment in this time now. And together we say, Amen. So okay, I thought I was going to be faster, okay. So those of you here, one of the 72 names of God, made up of 3 Hebrew Aramaic letters, because the Hebrew letters or the Aramaic letters, they are particles of the light of the Creator, or as Karen used to call them, portals to the endless world. So this combination of Mem, Yod, Chaf, or if you see it on the screen, is literally just to reveal that which is unrevealed within us. Or as some people call it, see reality. So it's to help us see really the reality within us, the reality of the world. If you look around the world, where did the infinite light go? So where did the Garden of Eden go? Even as we talk about this world, when we first came in this world, we made this a Garden of Eden. Then we did stupidity. We listened to that artificial stupidity. We got ourselves kicked out. So where did it go? Nowhere in any biblical teaching I've ever heard, or any religion, does it say the Garden of Eden got destroyed. Tower of Babel was destroyed. Certain other things were destroyed, but it never says the Garden of Eden was destroyed. So like you and I understand, if the light is infinite, it's still here. We just don't see it because we're blocked. We've given into the artificial stupidity. So here, for now, Mem Yod Kaf is going to take away the influence of that, take away the curtains that cover our eyes, the blindfolds, and we'll start to be able to look in the mirror and see the pure and perfect being that we really are. Okay? Is that okay with you? It's okay with you guys? So just look, Mem Yud Kaf. Remember the names, look at the shapes, because the shapes cause a certain frequency of energy to channel out, and we're going to make use of that vibration. So if I can ask you, sit comfortably in your seat, feet flat on the floor, hands on your lap. Just begin taking a few deep breaths. Breathe in through the nose, hold the breath for a moment, exhale through your mouth. Just allow the physical air and the spiritual light that it carries to fill you from head to toe. As you inhale and exhale, allowing that energy to circulate, bringing in new, fresh breath and light, clearing out some of the cobwebs, some of the blockages, and as you exhale, sending that revealed light, that added light out into the cosmos, to the 8 billion people on the planet, the 8 billion parts of yourself. Allow yourself to relax into that light, beginning to expand your perspective to include the infinite light that is around you, has always been, that you now have greater connection with, greater awareness, and greater affinity. So together we envision above our heads the Mem Yud Chaf. This one of the 72 names of the Creator, the attribute of seeing clearly, seeing true reality, seeing past the curtains and the veils of that artificial stupidity. See it vibrating, shining, the infinite light of the Creator. Feeling the vibration of unconditional love, peace, harmony, unity. And allow this energy, the Mem Yud Chaf, to enter through the top of your head, the Keter of the Tree of Life, the crown chakra. Feel that vibration, Mem Yud Chaf. Allow it to flow from head to toe, illuminating the dark spots within you. Seeing with your mind's eye more and more of the true light being that you are. Begin understanding what it means to be in the image and the likeness of the Creator. Accept more and more the power that has been entrusted to each of us to create a heaven on earth, as the Creator created a heaven above. And let the Mem Yud Chaf settle in your heart. Let it open the eyes of your heart, as the Zohar calls them. Let these eyes of your heart, with the support and the energy of the Mem Yud Chaf, have perfect vision. And so let's let together a beam of light shine out of our heart to the heart and soul of our friends and family, opening the eyes of their heart, activating, intensifying the light force inside them, a greater awakening of the pure and perfect being of light in them. And now let's continue extending a beam of light out of all of them to the heart and soul of all the people that you've ever had any discord with, any divisiveness. Reach also into their heart and soul to open the eyes of their heart, awaken their sense of also being the image and likeness, the realization that they are also pure and perfect beings of light, that they also see clearly the mistakes they've made and how truly powerful they are with the light of the Creator, and that eternal blessings are waiting for them also through the greater actions of sharing light through love, forgiveness, generosity, tolerance, compassion, humility. And through them, beams of light go out of their heart and soul to all the rest of the planet, to all the rest of humanity. That every soul is awakened. The eyes of the heart of every person opened fully with ultimate clear vision that we are one soul. We are pure and perfect beings of light. And we have the power to remove all the chaos and reveal heaven on earth, peace, love, and unity for all the planet, for all humanity, and ultimately for all time. Take a moment to notice this new feeling, this new vibration that you're experiencing. A greater sense of peace, certainty, trust, and compassion. And record in your heart and soul how good it feels. That you're now more motivated to not only keep, but to expand this vibration by constantly empowering these channels you've opened up with greater and greater light as you reveal more and more of your potential. Letting the light shine with greater intensity, with more consciousness, and greater unconditional love. Engrave this feeling, this sensation in your heart and mind. And we'll take one more deep breath that will stay with us forever. And as you exhale, slowly opening your eyes. Those of you here, thank you very much for joining us. Those of you online, stay on the Facebook page. One other thing, and she didn't leave it for me. Also, those of you online, if you will Facebook me, just your contact information, because some of you, don't go on Facebook, so we have no way to let you know. Even though I'll post on Facebook, I'm not going to be in person, whatever. Some people don't do that. But if you'll give me some contact information, we can keep a list of, just like the Spiritual Sunday people, that just for Spiritual Sunday type announcements or whatever, we can use it. Maybe. I might send you something here and there anyway. We'll make a community chat type thing. But anyway, if you do that, okay. God bless. Have an amazing week. And See you soon.
Thank you for joining us. If you liked what you saw, subscribe to this channel that you'll be notified when we post new videos. Share the video with your friends, they can also benefit. And check out the website, www.kabbalah.com, that's Kabbalah, for hundreds of articles and classes. Wish you an amazing day, and God bless.